Imagine you're living a life of quiet, predictable monotony. You're an expatriate in London, drifting through a series of unremarkable days, feeling that the world has lost its edge. That is exactly where Richard Hannay finds himself at the start of John Buchan's 1915 novel, The 39 Steps. He isn't a hero yet, he's just a man looking for a bit of excitement to cure his boredom. That boredom is shattered when an American war correspondent named Scudder knocks on his door. Scudder is a man in a hurry, looking frantic and terrified. He tells Hannay something that sounds like the plot of a fever dream. He has faked his own death to escape a global conspiracy. According to Scudder, there is a plot to assassinate the Premier of Greece, Constantine Karolides. The plotters believe that killing Karolides while he is in London will trigger a general European war, a controlled, devastating conflict that would allow them to profit from the chaos and shift the balance of power. Before Hannay can fully wrap his head around this, Scudder disappears, attempting to hide by disguising himself as a British officer. But the peace of London is gone for good. When Hannay returns to Scudder's flat, he finds the man has been murdered. Suddenly, Hannay is no longer just a bystander. He is a primary suspect in a murder investigation, and he's being hunted by people who have much more to lose than a simple correspondent. Realizing that the police will likely view him as the killer, Hannay decides to vanish. He finds a cryptic black pocketbook in Scudder's room, a notebook filled with coded secrets, and begins a desperate flight from the city. He uses a series of quick-thinking disguises, even posing as a milkman, to slip past the authorities and head north, toward the rugged, desolate landscape of the Galloway Moors in Scotland. This is where the book transforms from a city mystery into a high-stakes chase across the wild British landscape. As Hannay moves through the moors, he is essentially a ghost. He has to survive not just the elements, but the constant threat of being caught by the law or killed by the conspirators. He adopts the persona of a local hill farmer, trying to blend into a world that is as unforgiving as it is beautiful. While staying at a remote inn, Hannay finally begins to make sense of Scudder's notebook. He uses a name, Julia Cecchenier, as a key to decode the entries, and what he finds is terrifying. The conspiracy, which he learns is referred to as the Black Stone, has a specific timeline. They intend to use the assassination of the Greek premier on June 15th to trigger a European war, creating a diversion that would allow Germany to launch a surprise attack on Britain. The stakes are no longer just about Scudder's life or Hannay's freedom. They are about the survival of the British Empire and the prevention of a continental catastrophe. As Hannay moves further into the wilderness, the sense of isolation grows. He is a man alone against a massive, invisible machine. He receives some help from a well-meaning aristocrat named Sir Harry, and he even manages to get some unofficial support from the Foreign Office, but he is constantly on the move. He survives through a series of daring, almost cinematic impersonations. He poses as a local roadman to move through checkpoints, he narrowly avoids being spotted by an enemy aeroplane, and he uses tactical deceptions, including a small, well-timed explosion at a remote farm to throw his pursuers off the scent. By the time Hannay has recovered from the physical toll of his flight and the effects of being poisoned, he has transitioned completely. The bored expatriate is gone, replaced by a decisive, highly capable intelligence operative. He returns to London, where he is officially cleared of the murder, but he finds that the danger hasn't passed, it has simply changed shape. He realizes that the threat isn't just coming from outside the country. There is an enemy within. An imposter has successfully mimicked a high-ranking official to infiltrate the British inner circle, meaning the very people tasked with protecting the nation might be compromised. The tension reaches a breaking point when Hannay finds a final, cryptic clue in Scudder's notes, 39 Steps. This clue, combined with a specific detail about the high tide, leads Hannay to the Kent coast. He tracks the conspiracy to a place called the Ruff, a secluded villa on the cliffs. There, he encounters a group of men who appear to be nothing more than harmless, middle-class gentlemen enjoying a quiet retirement. They are playing a game of bridge, looking perfectly respectable and utterly ordinary. But Hannay is looking for more than just a face, he is looking for a tell. During the game, a subtle physical tick reveals the truth. These men are not retirees, but ruthless, professional international operatives. The veneer of respectability vanishes instantly, replaced by a violent struggle. In the chaos of the confrontation, a staircase collapses, and while the mastermind is finally captured, he reveals a devastating truth: his accomplice has already escaped by sea. The novel doesn't end with a neat, tidy victory. Instead, it ends with a chilling flash forward. The story jumps ahead to the actual outbreak of World War I. We see Hannay, no longer a man running from life, but a man enlisted in the army, heading toward the very conflict that the conspirators had tried to orchestrate. It's a sobering reminder that while Hannay may have stopped one specific cell of spies, the larger, massive, and inevitable machinery of global war was already in motion. When we look back at the 39 Steps, it's easy to see why it became such a foundational text for the spy thriller. It introduced us to the archetype of the man on the run, a character who is forced into heroism not by choice, but by the sheer necessity of survival. One of the most striking themes in the book is what we might call the mask of respectability. Buchan was writing in 1915, at the dawn of a war that would change everything. There was a profound geopolitical anxiety in the air, a fear that the real enemies weren't just soldiers in trenches, but the people sitting next to you in a parlour or the officials working in the next office over. The villains in this book aren't cartoonish monsters. They are men who blend perfectly into polite society. They use the tools of civilization, finance, diplomacy, and social standing to dismantle it. This ties into the idea of identity and impersonation. Throughout the story, Hannay survives by becoming someone else. He is a milkman, a roadman, a farmer, an official. In Buchan's world, identity is a tool, a camouflage that allows a person to navigate a world where no one can be fully trusted. This creates a constant tension. If anyone can be anyone, then no one is ever truly who they seem. There is also a fascinating interplay between the character and the landscape. The rugged, desolate moors of Scotland serve as more than just a setting. They mirror Hannay's own state of being. As he moves into the wilderness, he becomes as stripped down and essential as the landscape itself. The isolation of the moors emphasizes his solitude, making his struggle feel more primal and existential. It's man against the elements, but also man against an invisible, overwhelming system. It is also worth noting how much this book differs from the famous Alfred Hitchcock film adaptation. If you've only seen the movie, you might expect a romantic subplot or a different kind of climax. But the original novel is much more concerned with the cold, hard realities of espionage and the terrifying scale of international politics. It's less about a hero and a heroine, and more about a man trying to hold back a tide of chaos. Ultimately, the power of the 39 Steps lies in its sense of scale. It starts as a personal story, a man's escape from a murder charge, and expands until it encompasses the fate of nations. It suggests that the actions of a single individual, though they may feel small in the face of history, are part of a much larger, more complex struggle. Hannay's fight was a precursor to the massive, devastating catastrophe of the Great War, a reminder that the shadows cast by conspiracy and secret agendas often precede the light of open conflict.